Hey everyone, welcome back to another 31-minute podcast. Morning, Jord.
Good morning.
Morning, Jacko.
Good morning.
Love
Your
that.
own microphone,
Yeah, I
everything now.
love that. That's so
How good is it?
Yeah, so good. We should get you to do more appearances.
Appearances on the podcast.
Just before you do that, have you checked the recording in two places?
Yeah, it's recording in two
Are you
places.
sure?
Yeah,
The
18
amount of
seconds.
the amount of times, I've deleted it or hasn't recorded.
Yeah, that's a big deep breath after you hear that,
Oh
isn't
my
it?
goodness.
You live and you learn. I spend the whole morning freaking out, wondering what Dad's going to say because
Yeah,
it sounds like this when he's talking on the podcast.
yeah, no good. All right, so I'm a bit sweaty today. I just finished training, so I thought I'd get in a training session this morning, and then get up and do the podcast. I've got a topic today, and I think it's the most important topic in the world.
Okay, I'm excited to hear it.
It's in the world. So, we've sort of talked about it before, but I really want to dive into it a bit more because it can literally change lives. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It's the emotional guidance scale. Yeah? Now, before people go, I could see Jordan's like, oh.
I like the emotional guidance scale.
Yeah, but
I'm
I want to
interested.
talk about the function of it, managing it, and how it actually converts to results. That's what I want to talk about. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to say?
I was going to say, remind me of the list, or are you going to go through that?
Yeah, I'm going to go through it with you.
Yeah.
So let's get straight into it. So the emotional guidance scale is a scale of your mood, of your feeling. You can just divide it into two if you want, good and not good, like positive, negative, if you want. So you know when you feel good, and then when you don't feel
Good
good.
mood, bad mood.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
right. So, but let's go more than that and talk about the layers. And you know how I talk about the zone quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm talking about stuff, there's a lot of trial and error in my life. So there's living with no idea about it, bouncing around, terrible results in life, end up in the gutter, and then you go, it's not a very nice place down here, living in some abandoned place with nothing, no one, blah. And then you go, I'm going to make a change. And then slowly you start working towards it. It takes a long time. But then you talk, almost 30 years later, and I'm a pretty specific energy manager now. So when I talk about it, it's not like tomorrow Jackson's going to walk out of here and start being an emotional guidance scale specialist.
Yeah.
But the awareness of it is where it's at. The awareness of it is we work together every day, you and I.
Yep.
So you sort of get to watch and we bounce and I help you manage things and sometimes you help me manage things and it's easier. But when you're just like you might be the only one in your family that does this, that's even interested. So the other person might have no interest whatsoever, and then you don't really get to experience it with people while you're trying to implement it. Because it's easy to want to do it. It's so hard to live it.
Yeah, it's easier to do it when you're around similar mind people.
Totally.
Because some businesses literally run in the bad mood state all the time.
Yeah. Quick example of this. Matt Dawson yesterday. We had a meeting. There's about 10 of us in there. Matt Dawson, pretty simple sort of guy, great worker, great real estate agent, works with us. Good guy, all-round good guy. The market's everywhere. He said to me, he turned in the meeting, he goes, you know what we do now, Matt, in our office? And I'm like, what? He goes, all we focus on is the emotional guidance scale. We make sure we're at the top of it. This is a guy who's listened along the way and he's just...
I cannot picture that coming from Matt
That's
Dawson's
what I mean.
mouth. I would have fell over.
He goes, that's the reason we're doing well. Wow.
In what way does he focus there?
He makes sure his energy is at the top end. Let's talk about the scale so people understand what we're saying. Because it's a conscious decision. And then also, before we get into it, you are born, I've realized, with an energy set point. You're just born with it. And what I mean by that is you're born with a certain frequency, I reckon. So some people find it easier than others. Some people naturally have a positive disposition. Some people have the negative. Some people look at the downside. Some people look at the upside. Some people are really driven. Some people are not. Like Jackson.
Do you think you're born like that as a baby,
Yeah, I do.
or it's sort of what you're surrounded with?
No,
in your
I thought
growth
about it a
days?
lot. I thought about it so much. You can have two brother and sister grow up in the same house and be totally different. Well, here's Logan ringing now. So Logan and Jackson are totally different.
That's actually true.
Yeah. Like I have, Jord, I'm not kidding, mate, when I say this. I have studied this so intently for such a long time, and I look at people and I've really gone as deep as I can so far into this, because this is the secret. This is, when I say the secret, not the secret like the thing, but this is how you change your results. This is how you create wealth. This is how you do all that. Like Jackson, I don't care what you do to him. His work ethic is not like mine. We are that different, it's not funny. However, he's way more creative than me. Put a camera in his hand, mate, he can take a photo of a PowerPoint and it looks good.
Yeah.
Give me a camera, I try to take a picture of a person, they all look terrible. I don't know why. Like, they're all like, this is not a very good photo. I don't know what it is. So we're all born with special gifts and talents and energy set points and frequencies. It's how you manage them in life that matters. So you have the ability to expand it, add it to yourself, mix it up with what you do, enhance you. You know what I mean? That's what I think.
Can we read it out?
Yeah, let's go. So at the top of the scale is joy and appreciation. So let's go just appreciation. Right, so that's the top of the scale, number one. So when you're appreciating something, you are in the highest vibration possible. Yeah. And then you got passion, number two, eagerness, enthusiasm at number three, positive expectation at number four, so belief, optimism, hopefulness, and contentment. Then it stops. That's the top. So that's the zone. Any one of those ones.
Yep.
And you could say, they're just good. So can you tell the difference between you feeling optimistic or positive?
There's probably a slight difference.
Slight.
A little bit.
When you say it, there's slight.
Yeah.
Or when you're passionate or enthusiastic.
When you're passionate and enthusiastic, they're pretty
They're
similar.
very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on here, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
I didn't make this up. This is like
Yeah.
Esther Hicks or the universe. I don't know who made it.
I think enthusiastic is more like I'm really enthused to do this. What was the other one?
Passion.
But passion is like it's deep inside you,
It is.
like it's driving you.
Yeah.
I could be enthused to do this podcast, or it's like driving me to get here to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I get where you're going here. Yeah,
So we'll go on the next one. So I haven't got this to show.
I like
Hold up.
appreciation.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah,
So-
continue.
So the negative starts at boredom.
Mm-hmm.
So boredom, pessimism, frustration, overwhelmment, disappointment, doubt, worry, blame, discouragement, anger, revenge, hatred. Hello, James. Hatred, jealousy, insecurity, and fear at the bottom. Fear and depression is at the bottom, or grief. And that's it.
Mm.
So they're the negative. And it's like some are less negative than others. And, you know, like, and the interesting thing about that is if someone's, fear is an interesting one right now. Fear. How many people say to me, what do you think is going to happen with the world?
Yeah, everyone,
Yeah,
most people.
so many.
Mhm.
Because they watch the news. So let's talk about the news for 1 second.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
Why does fear sell? That's what I can't understand. If it makes you feel so yuck, why does it sell?
It's addictive.
I don't find it addictive at all.
Oh, well, that's not true. Because you'll go watch a movie and you'll be like, Top Gun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that, all the action and all the stuff, and he's going to get shot, and it's like, oh.
I like that, but that's fiction. I don't want to know that the world is caving in
Yeah, but
like
that's the
every
same
morning
thing.
when I wake up.
It's the same thing. Top Gun's getting plane shot down, and on the news, got some guy ran into a tree in Africa. Let's report on it. Like it's like they go find all the negative stuff in the world. Listen to their language. When you got 2 minutes sometime, turn the news on and listen to their language. Every story is crisis, destruction.
But how come?
What do you mean?
Well, I don't get it.
Because
why?
people are, it's addictive. It's like, oh, wow. Oh, did you see the ozone layers changing? We're going to melt in 3.5 years.
Been saying that for a long time.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Mm.
Like, wow. Oh my goodness. Did you see that there's going to be a food shortage soon? Did you see that? All the food's going to stop.
Just fear mongering.
Mongering. Yeah.
I can't say any big words.
But it's addictive. But this natural disposition, how many people, and you go back to natural disposition, how many people say not bad?
Lots.
Hey, Jordan, how you going? Not bad.
Mm.
I hear that, and I've said it before on a podcast. I think to myself, why do they say that? Yesterday, someone rings me. I said, I'm what did I say? Fantastic, bordering on phenomenal. Like I just say it sometimes on the phone. I'm fantastic, bordering on phenomenal. They go, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You know, automatically their energy lifts.
Yeah. What's happened?
Yeah.
I woke up.
I didn't watch the news.
Yeah.
Like I would have no idea what's going on in the news and things like that. But it's like, no, I'm not saying my way is the right way, but it's how I manage my energy. And that's what I want to talk about today.
Mm.
It's how do you manage your own energy and how do you go up and down this scale with awareness? Because do you realize if you operated at the top,
Where are you right now?
me?
Yeah.
I think I'm at the top.
Yeah.
Well, so I go in between things. However, I'm not always. So I genuinely appreciate where I'm at. I don't need a new car. I don't really need anything.
Mm.
I just like happy with where I'm at. I'm like got a water.
I truly believe that. I would say if you were like, oh, I'm here and I thought you were somewhere else, I would say that. But I do actually believe you're at the top.
Yeah.
But I have seen you change sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
not-
when
but
I
not-
yell at you.
Well, going back 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, you would change a lot more than recently. I don't see you change very often anymore.
No.
Like, perfect example of that listing. I'm like, literally, we need to go to war over that. You're like, yeah, it's not meant for us.
Yeah. Well, here's the
that's
thing.
a big
I'm so
change
glad
I've
you brought
seen.
that up. I'm so
Yeah.
glad you brought that up. But I want to talk about that.
Yeah. I took your train of thought away.
Yeah,
You know?
but no, it's what I
Yeah.
want to talk about as well. So it's how do you manage that? But so when you have a really acute awareness, you got to live it first. So you got to practice it and live it. It's like Jackson. Jackson, when he started riding a bike, I taught all the kids how to ride a bike, every single one of them, and it was like mind-numbingly difficult for some of them, and others like one go off they go. Jackson, I put him on the bike out the front of the house. He went straight in a semicircle and smashed into the next door neighbour's car, straight in the side of it, boom, like that. And I was like, oh gee. So I just smacked him and sent him in the house. No.
Yeah, he's on training wheels forever.
Yeah. But we're like this with energy. Because remember, go back to your natural disposition. So I reckon my natural disposition and environment, like I grew up in a fairly stressful environment when I was a kid. So I think I had developed a lot of anxiety and a lot of
Where were you as a
uncertainty.
kid?
I hated my life as a kid. I
Really?
used to just sit in my house going, I don't even belong in this family.
So you were at the bottom of that scale?
Yeah, I think I was. Like, I just didn't really have anything inspirational. I was like, it's not a woe is me story. It's just that I think my parents were they just were living in, working, stressed, no money. Like, everything was just stressful, a whole lot of it. Dad was a bit of an alco. Like, what about you? I think you had a reasonable life.
I had a really good life until my dad lost his mind.
Yeah.
Well, my family very
Well,
well.
let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Sorry, 1 second. Let's delve into this for a second. Because you're quite a driven young man, but when you talk about your dad, how do you feel?
I don't talk about it
No,
for
but
that exact reason.
How do you feel though? Where do you go on the scale as soon as you talk about it?
Straight to the bottom.
Straight to the bottom. You probably
Yeah.
go like anger and disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think I would run him over in a car if I seen him on the side of the road.
Yeah, I feel like doing it for you. But but see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you go up and down the scale on all subjects in your life. So have you ever seen someone that they're wealthy but so unhappy? They hate life. I know a couple of people like that. Or people who have amazing work lives and terrible personal lives. So it's not just you live this euphoric energy position in life. Every subject has a frequency position. Every subject.
That's really true.
Yeah. So it's like, with work, we all talk about money a lot, but money's nothing more than a reflection of your belief. That's all it is, how much you hold it, and then you obviously got to do something. But with all of this activates an idea or a prompt or a feeling. So we quite often attach it to, if I operate at appreciation, I'm going to get this huge big win somewhere. It doesn't work like that. What you will get though is call that person or turn left here.
So if somebody said to you, I want to be at the top like you, what would you say?
You can. So if you break your day down, it's a lot easier. So when you wake up, I actually put myself there. by choice. And I can feel when I don't. So like something can happen in the morning. Like you can literally start thinking about, like it could be raining and you've got a photo shoot on, or you got something, you know, or you slam your finger in the door in the drawer, or your thought goes to yesterday. Something happened that didn't work out. And then all of a sudden your energy goes where? You're
Down the scale.
down the scale.
Mm-hmm.
So I make a conscious effort to get the flow going every morning. So when I wake up, I literally lay there for a few minutes just talking myself into the day. But I don't do it you don't do it with determination. You do it with ease. Everything good happens with ease, with energy. When you like, I'm going to have a great day, that's not what you're looking for. But when you genuinely say, yeah, I'm really happy with where I'm at. Like I'm really happy just to have a job, and I'm happy to go to the factory and get to hang out with Jackson and Jordan today, and I get to create a podcast, and I get to do this, and I'm just feeling really good. And then
that's appreciation.
It
The
is.
words that you just said.
It is, but you've got to learn to do it genuinely. That's why affirmations aren't that great. Like affirmations are a bit fake. They've never felt right for me because, you know, I'm wealthy, but you might not be. Like I am wealthy. I am abundance. Like you've got to say where you sort of are. Like it's a feeling thing. Like it's like I genuinely like this water, but if I was drinking this water and wanted a Gatorade, and I'm like convincing myself that I like the water, that's a totally different vibration. I may as well just have a Gatorade and be really enjoying the Gatorade.
Yep.
You know, and like I really love this Gatorade. When I'm like, if I was a bit fake and like, I like the water, but I'd rather a Gatorade. It's a bit like that. You know, so all I do is just get the energy flowing, because you got to look at each day as a segment. Each day is a new segment, and when you go to sleep, it stops. It's the most important thing you can think about with energy. So each day, what happened yesterday, the energy has stopped because I've had a sleep. And when you sleep, your energy is stopped for the day. And you start, the moment you wake up is your next energy flow. So you choose it. So when I start, I'm like, I've learnt that if I start clunky, the day goes real clunky.
But can you turn it around?
You can, but it's very hard. Yeah, it's really hard. It's much easier if you can get it started. That's why you can't load yourself up too much with things in the day as well. So if you look where, you know, people go, I'm so busy. You've been there. Maybe when you nearly went off your whole career because you were so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Tell me how you felt.
I reckon I do 10 times the work now as well.
Yeah, remember I said to you, you've just got to just stop doing what you're doing. Like you've got to click back in again a little bit.
It was the stretching phase. It was when I was starting to manage a lot more owners, and I think the market was just changing, and I felt like I was in over my head. I was dying. I was actually thinking, I don't know if this is for me anymore.
You were going to leave. I could feel it.
Yeah. I was going, this isn't worth. Like I was actually thinking I'm going to get sick or like whatever. I couldn't,
because when you would talk, you would almost like be so stressed. You'd be like, I think like you're going to burst into tears.
I didn't I? A few times. I think you said something.
I think Cookie came along then as well.
And then
the
Cookie was,
thing, and you were crying like all the time. You were just like, everyone's like, don't talk to Jordan.
Cookie had a stroke. The market was just changing. I was managing owners and I was not as experienced as I am now, and that was just yeah. But I remembered I think we did like a full podcast specifically on that, and I just like let go of all the tension. It was the worst. It was the worst.
Yeah.
I lasted about 3 months, 6 months, 3 months probably.
Yeah, it did. Lasted for a while, but there's benefit in it. And
but
the benefit...
You said because I never changed my morning routine, remember? I was still going to the gym. I was dragging myself there. Everything that I was still doing when I was happy, I was still just forcing myself to do it.
That's what I mean.
And you were like, stop going to the gym. Like, stop getting up at 4:30. I think I was just started sleeping until I would wake up.
You were sleeping, like, you actually were, like, getting paler and paler. And you were, like, even, like, you were just, like, looking so out of shape. And, like, you were just changing. Yeah.
I did a big flip. I started sleeping in or till whenever I woke up. I stopped training. I took that intensity part out of work, like the stress. I was just like, what will be, will be. A few months, I was back on track. Started back at the gym.
So when you, we'll just run on this for a second. So if you have a look at where overwhelmed is, it's number 11, right, out of 22. And so it's right into the negative. So when you're overwhelmed, see, being really busy is not fantastic. It's okay. Like when you grow, you run and all that, but you've got to manage it. Like you've got to manage your the capacity in a way, because once you feel overwhelmed, you got to realize no good stuff's coming. So the flow that got you there, it's going to stop. Like it's going to change, and you're going to drop the ball, and you're going to boom and boom and boom.
Remember I sold no properties for a whole month?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
First time in my entire career.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
It's one the month after that or something too. So
Yeah.
you're right. But I was still working 80 hours a week.
Yeah, it's the law of diminishing results.
Mm.
That's what it is, because that's why hard work is the last part. It's not the first part. That's when people go, work harder. That's not true at all. What is true is learn to manage your energy first, and you'll feel like working harder. But when your energy is depleted and your frequency is low, you can work as hard as you want. It won't come together. You might get the odd thing here or there, but the flow is not there. It's like literally trying to drive your car when it's overheated. And you're putting the accelerator down going, yeah, I'm just going to get there. I'll get there. And there's steam coming out of the bonnet and all that stuff.
So how do people, I know people that live in the bottom end of the scale.
Yeah, that's what I'm
pretty
saying.
much.
That's what
How do
you
they-
asked me, why do people watch the news? Because they match it. They match it, Jordan.
That is true.
They love it. They want to sit there and absorb themselves in 45 minutes of the most depressing rubbish you've ever seen in your life. If people actually took a step back and saw what the news actually was, they wouldn't go near the thing. You are programming your mind for every crisis, destruction, depressive event ever in the world. In that half an hour or 45 minutes, you're sitting there and programming your mind.
I don't think the news will be around in the next 20 or 30 years like it is now.
I hope not.
Like, do you watch the news?
No.
No one, like our generation are fed up with it, are fed up with the lies, are fed up with the energy that comes from it.
What? Yeah.
We can see through it all.
I know. Don't even get me
Like,
started.
yeah,
But that's why.
that's
Go
a
back
good
to that. Yeah, 100%. But people match it. You ask why.
Yeah.
Tell me why people don't, in their home, at 5 o'clock, instead of rushing to get to the news, why don't they put like an amazing song on and dance around the house?
I don't know.
Well, imagine they did. They'd be so happy. Why isn't there not music in the streets and everyone's just dancing around? And why? How good would it be? You'd be out like bopping around, doing your thing. I love it in the factory here when there's music on, all the shutters are down and it's just, pumping, going, whatever. It's like the best in the world. So
you think you got to wake up and work out what you like doing that gets you in the zone? That's number one.
here's the tricky part, because you can't always do what you like.
You should be able to in the morning, most mornings.
You've got 3 kids,
Good point.
doing a job.
Yeah.
You're a plumber. You're doing a job. You liked plumbing in the beginning, but now it's like you're a bit sick of it.
Well, Trev's a perfect example. He walks in and he goes, "Oh, I've had the worst of morning.
Yeah.
The baby was up five times last night with the dummy. I think she's getting a cold. I think I'm getting a cold from her getting a cold."
Yeah.
I'm like, Trev, dude, the last 60 seconds has made me that depressed.
Yeah.
Like, I can't help you. I can't hear it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But Trev's in there swinging hard.
So hard. So hard.
So here's
So for somebody like Trev, what can Trev do?
we got to be aware.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Without the awareness, this could be Jackson sitting here at 23 years old. If he worked this out at 30 years old, he would have the perfect life beyond all description. His life is different to yours and mine. And like my perfect life is getting up, going to the factory, creating my body, going to work, working on a few things, maybe going to the factory, doing stuff with the kids and going to bed. That's my perfect life. A couple of holidays a year, maybe. But it's like, I don't need nothing else. Like, honestly, I don't need your Louis Vuitton shoes. I don't need the most expensive suits. I don't need none of that stuff. Like, I'm just so happy where it's at. I think a lot of the other stuff that people are striving for actually makes them unhappy. I think when they get it and they're pushing so hard to get it because they think they're going to feel different, I actually think it's feeling different. Then you can, half the stuff that you think's going to make you feel better, you don't want anyway.
I like what you said. I said I listened to yours and Gav Rubenstein's podcast this morning, and I like when you said these young guys that buy expensive suits, cars they can't afford, they can never find the zone because they're constantly worried, anxious, because they've got $120,000 car loan they've got to pay for this week, or so whatever good is happening in their life is blanketed out because of all the anxiety coming from the decisions, which is really true.
It's a real mixture, George, because that might inspire them.
Right.
All right. So that's why you can't. I can sort of say that from where I sit because I've been there. But Jackson might want to buy, and I know I'm sort of using Jackson as an example, but he's at that perfect age where he might want to buy an $80,000 car. But what I would say, if that's going to inspire you so much, save half the money, go buy it, and then live a life that's like pretty simple so you can get it paid off quickly or whatever else. So it's not like you're living beyond your means and creating more stress for yourself. You know, like if that's going to inspire you, you want to wake up every day and go, oh, I'm loving that, you know, shooting for that. You've got to have stuff to shoot for. But when people stretch themselves too far, you lose peace of mind. And peace of mind is a very powerful thing. When you've got peace of mind, your energy is 10 times greater. You feel centered, and you feel things find you much easier. When you step out of that and step out of alignment because you're worried about a car, look where worry is. It's right down on the lowest part of the scale. When you're constantly worried about things, you don't have the zone. You're out of the zone because you've racked up all of, and debt does that, I think. I think debt does. That's why I go on about the cars and all this sort of stuff. Like, that's what I'm saying. If you really want that 5 Series BMW, like, do it in a way that's manageable. Not,
that's not going to change your
I'll
frequency.
do it so I look good and feel good, because you don't want to be thinking, oh, what happens if the market changes a bit, or, you know, whatever. If you have a business and the business doesn't always run well, you know, business doesn't always pump along. You don't want to put yourself in that spot where the noose gets a little bit tighter around your neck and you're like, can't breathe properly. So when you look at life through energetic eyes and this emotional guidance scale, you will make decisions based on how you feel.
How do you look through life with energetic eyes?
Okay, it's a mixture of time, I think, yourself. So that's why I put so much stuff out there about fitness and 31 minutes. And that's my number one thing, because if your tanks are full, you feel good for a start. Like, you know, like I have to be careful here, because it's like, when you're pushing yourself in an optimum way, you will naturally feel more energetic. I think there's a price to pay for health.
For sure.
I do. I think there's a price to pay. I don't think drinking is good. I don't care what anyone says to me. And I can talk about it, because I've done everything, Jordan.
Yeah.
You name it, I've taken it, I've done it. I've done it every way you can imagine. I've overdosed 5 times. I've had a near-death experience. I've been in hospital 4 other times. I can talk about it. You know, it's funny. People message me and go, oh, drinking's not that bad. You know, you need to stop preaching, blah, blah, blah. No. I can, because I've lived it and I understand it. I've looked at both sides. I've looked at every 85 sides of it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's nothing good comes from it. I've watched my kids struggle with alcohol and drugs and all this sort of stuff. I can tell you where Jackson sits today. He's 100 times better than he was 2 years ago. He was on the point of suicide 2 years ago. You know, so nothing good comes from that stuff. So I say to myself, do I want to operate at the top of the scale? And this is what I say to myself as well, George, with energy. Like, I'm prepared to pay the price to have a good life. You know, like, it's all good in the moment of drinking and whatever. You can't tell me you feel good on Monday after you drink or get on it on Saturday.
No.
You can't tell me you do. So do you want to waste Sunday, Monday and Tuesday? That's 3 days. Imagine what you can do in 3 days. And
sometimes it's longer.
Yours is.
I don't go out much anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was.
Missed opportunity, Jordan. Missed opportunity. You know how much good stuff's happened to me in the last year? Like, my life is just about to explode. I'm telling you, my life is just about to explode. I just quietly work in the background, do my thing. I reckon my life is just about to go through the roof because I'm paying the price up front. I'm fit. I'm committed. I'm learned a lot of lessons being a dad. I'm engaged. Still a couple of kids, work in progress. My personal life is good. I'm healthier than I've ever been. I will never touch a drink again. Never. Not once, ever. Never take a drug. Won't do it. Because I'm not willing to miss the... Remember I said to you before that this is about prompts. This is not about all of a sudden someone's going to give you $10 million when you walk out the front. But what will happen is you'll get the 10 million idea at some point when you least expect it, and you've got to go with that. And you've got to feel it enough to say, that's me. I'm doing that. And you've got to hold on to that feeling and keep that feeling going. So when you have that sort of go this way, go this way, go this way, the universe is always talking to you constantly. You don't just get born here with no clothes, no nothing, with no instruction. Do you think that's what happens?
No.
Can't. How old's your niece now?
2.5.
2.5.
Or 2.
2.5. You're engaged with her like nothing else, aren't you?
Mm.
I watch you. You're like.
I knew it from the minute she was born, but the other baby is not at all. Not in the slightest.
You got a favourite?
Yeah, for sure. I'll say it straight to her face. I say you're my third favourite person in the whole world. She's like, what the hell?
Am I number one? So this podcast is going to go for a little bit longer. But you can't tell me, George, that you're born on this earth with no guidance. You're born with nothing. Just pop out and you cry and you look at your mum and you hope you like her. You go, yep, that's for me. Let's get on with this thing. You have the most unbelievable navigation system inside of you. Way more intricate, way more...
I was talking to somebody about that this morning, about gut feel. So explain gut feel. Like, just explain it. There's no explanation.
No.
Scientifically.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm saying, Jordan. This got nothing to do with Ferrari.
That's a navigation system. I think about that all the time. Whatever my gut is saying, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. But most people run their life and business like that.
But you can't hear it, Jordan, if you're hungover. You're still connected to the spirit world. So you're only 20% human.
I think what you said before is spot on. Like, you miss the prompts.
Yeah, hang on.
Or you get the prompt and you don't action it.
100%. So you're only 20% physical. You are 80% spiritual. This is not religion. No, I deeply believe in a creator and spirit and all of this. But I reckon when you're born, every single person has guides. Whether you believe that or not, I know it. I say the angels talk to me all the time.
What, do you think it's angels or do you think it's energy?
I think it's a mixture. I think everyone has a guide of some sort. Everyone has... I've had too many experiences, Jordan.
Why do some guides go that way and some guides go...
What do you mean?
Like...
No, they don't. People disconnect themselves from... life is like... And it's do you remember the book's called Choose Your Own Adventure? You might be too young.
No, but I'm guessing...
You read 3 pages, and then at the bottom of the chapter, you read these ones, and then at the chapter it says, if you think this, go to page 52. If you think go to page 28. It's the same. You go, in every moment, Jordan, you've got a million different variations of that choice. How do you know what's the right one? Like, I could literally sit here and throw this can at Jackson's head. I could do that, or I could say something that's going to appeal to somebody on the other side of the world that they're going to contact me. Or I could, whatever, I could do anything. Like, I could make a phone call right now, I don't know, whatever. It's just, I'm going to feel the next thing. The next thing is the next part of my life. And that next thing is going to be dependent on how I'm feeling and how tuned in I am and the frequency that I'm in. So the frequency that I'm in is going to be how I can hear the message that's coming to me. Intuition, gut feel. You were talking about it. So go to health. If my gut is really good, like I'm on this whole gut journey at the moment, it's amazing. If I'm if my gut health is good, if I'm physically good, if I don't drink, if I'm eating well, if I'm doing the right thing in life,
Like
if
a
I'm
job.
if I'm not a deceptive this, and I don't want to whatever, I'm genuinely out there to do the best that I physically can, I'm going to get good messages. I'm going to be clear, and I'm going to be the ability I'm going to have to hear the next message is going to be really strong. And I'm going to, and you said, why do people watch the news? Because they match it. So what am I going to match? I'm working on this every day, Jordan. I'm that committed to this part of my life. It's not funny. I don't care about anything else. I just care about this. Because if I get this right, the person that's out the front of the factory when I walk out of here, it sees me. I saw a guy right here. Hello, James. I saw a guy right here. I had the factory door open the other day. Dave Howe. I knew him 30 years ago. He just happened to be standing there the other day. I was like, he goes, it's Dave Howe. I'm like, oh, how you going? If I was 3 seconds, there was nothing to it apart from, he goes, mate, look how fit you are, this and that. We're just chatting. If I was 4 seconds or 10 seconds any different, I would have seen him. The alignment of the universe is working every minute of every day for us for our good. It's up to us whether we choose to tune into it. That's why I'm working so hard on myself to make myself as physically aligned with the frequencies of goodness that's going to lead me to the next thing and the next thing. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, look at my life in the last year and look at it 3 years ago. 3 years ago, people were even wondering if I was going to keep going, you know, and it was a mess. Well, 4 years ago. And look at it today.
So how do you change from 3 years ago to now?
Slowly. With a decision. And say, I want to see what I'm capable of.
So little decision, little decision, little decision, little decision.
But the problem with the world, Jordan, is we look at Andrew Tate driving a Bugatti and we go, we want a Bugatti. Forget the Bugatti. Don't worry about the Bugatti. I look at someone and I go, I want to be aligned with, why are they that aligned that they get that stuff? Then if you want it, you probably won't want it most of the time when you get there. You can if you want, but it's not the thing you want to go and get. Because when you wake up every day and you're in alignment, you put yourself in alignment, nothing feels better. Nothing feels better. You sit in a Bugatti, it's like, yeah, it's a car.
So do you think do you think that you need to work out what parts of your life are actually changing your energy and the emotional scale?
Yeah.
Is that the whole goal? Like if somebody was waking up and going, I'm always waking up in a bad mood, is the next step, all right, I need to identify why that is?
Sort of.
And take steps slowly out of it? Because I'm trying to think from somebody that's listening, I think I operate most of the time at the top of the scale.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. Your life is fantastic, Jordan.
Yeah.
You don't know where you're at. You're so freaking dumb sometimes. No, you are. Because you're so desperate to be somewhere. You are that far ahead, it's not funny. I'm that proud of you. It's amazing. You just need to just enjoy it where you're at. Keep doing what you're doing. And I'd say to you, I'd say just tweak it here a little bit. Don't do so many activities, simplify it a bit. When life is simple, it's very powerful. Busy's not great. Busy's good, but to a point. But you got to chime in and out of it. It's like the tide of the ocean. It goes up and down, up and down. It's not always high tide.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there. That's where overwhelmment comes from. But in the morning, I'm so protective of that time. I trained with James this morning and we're just chatting and doing our thing, and then I come up to do the podcast. My first appointment's 9 o'clock. Then my next one's 10:15. Then my next one, I've got a big gap, and then another one at 3.
Yep.
That's it. I don't want 30 appointments in the day. And if that means we're not number one this year because of that, it doesn't matter. I'll enjoy it so much more. But here's the funny thing. When you are like that, the quality of your appointments are better. The results are better. The people are better. You were saying to me yesterday, you should be listing that house. I said, she doesn't fit with me. I don't want anxiety waking up every day.
You did say that.
I don't want it.
So it is choices, for sure.
It's choices, and it's subtle. Energy is so subtle, but it's the most powerful thing.
If we took that listing on it, would change the emotional scale for you for 2 months
I would
till it got
enjoy
sold.
Yeah. It doesn't mean you just go, I'm not going to enjoy this and I don't enjoy it. It's like you've got to align with the flow. If something's not flowing, let it bounce off of you, because that frequency is different than what you want. So don't bend yourself all up about it, because what do you do by doing that? So if you lose something, so something doesn't work out for you, I see it now, it just bounced off of me. Because it doesn't match, because it's law. It's not what Matt says, it's law. So if I'm in appreciation, then I want things that are going to match that, because then they flow and they sell and they, like, we're doing very well, Jordan, in this market. We're doing very well. We're not much different than before. But it took a bit to get there again, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Because our whole psyche changed, and then we slowly, what's it been? A year, 6 months, 10 months, something? It's taken us that to steady the ship again and vibrationally all get like pumping and enthused. But what does that take? We wake up, we send emojis to each other, we talk to each other every day, we send positive messages to each other. No one says in our WhatsApp group, in our team, what happened on the news last night? So we put a bubble around ourselves, and we're just positivity like nothing else. Not fake, just like, what do we got today? What are we going to sell today? Our life is very simple. List one, sell one every day. That's all we need to do. And if we do that enough, we'll probably be number one. But we want good business coming to us. You can get someone's business and it can be the worst thing ever and absorb all your time and blah, blah, blah. You know what? That person just matched you, Jordan. I want people now that just, I feel good. Like I love serving them. I love working with them. And they sell within a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, so true.
And, and even like getting caught up with pricing and stuff, I don't do that so much these days. Parry Avenue is a really good example of that. We were getting like no interest, and I just said to the owner, just stay steady, give me a bit of time. We just keep giving it energy. I have this saying, be the energy that you want to see. So if you're enthused and pumped and passionate and blah, 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 you're going to get people that match that, results that match that. It's got nothing to do with the climate. It's got everything to do with you.